The holidays have started, my studio's been overrun with children and animals, and oh yeah, the whole world's about to change this year. Hiya guys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, I'm Sean Hills and this is A Soul's Experience, a channel dedicated to helping the human race remember who we really are. Even though this is a really serious video and I am taking this year seriously, it's it is the most important year of our lives. Universally, historically, not just for us, but for Gaia, for Earth, and for the ripples that it will send out into this great universe. I want to keep the energy positive because being negative is going to get us nowhere, especially in this time of year. So, what am I talking about? So anyone who's been following this channel, if you are a soul experiencer, if you are a member, then welcome back. If you want to become a soul experiencer, just hit the subscribe button. You don't even have to like this video, but hit the subscribe button because there might be a video that you like in the future. And it's absolutely free. Yes, you can subscribe for free. It pays nothing and it helps me to continue to make content which is going to help raise the consciousness of humanity. And we can all have our physical jobs down here on Earth. We all need to earn a bit of money. We all need to, get by in the ways we get by. But ultimately, I feel if there's one thing, one job I can do when I stand in front of our great creator and they say, what did you do with your life? I can say, I tried to help raise the consciousness of humanity, and this is my little part of doing that. And never underestimate the ripples that we can individually send out there across this great globe and help awaken those around us. We can just wake one other person up next to us. Then we have done a great deed for the divine, and indeed, a great deed for ourselves. So without further waffling on about this great universe and consciousness, I want to talk about the catalyst of 2025. Now, if you have watched my videos for some time, you would have heard me talk about this quite a bit. It's the whole reason I made this channel all them years ago. 3 years ago. All them years ago when I was a youngster. Hey. But yeah, no, I made this whole channel because of a vision I had in 2007. I saw the whole world change 5 years ago. Boom, it came true. And I thought, oh, my days. I better revisit all the other things I saw in that vision and just try and help with the process, because if you don't understand what's going on, this year is just going to be full of fear. If you understand what's going on, it's going to be full of hope. And there's a massive difference. I am full of hope because I've seen after the catalyst of 2025, which is what I'm calling it, because it is. We have a catalyst this year that changes the whole world. It is energetically linked to what happened 5 years ago and all of the years in between. This 5-year period is a building block of its own. But it had to start with this catalyst, which, to what happens this year, in my vision, is considered small. Now try and keep that in mind. What happened 5 years ago? We all know what happened. Try not to get the videos censored here on YouTube, so I'm not going to say too many things about things. But we all know the whole world was affected 5 years ago and, we had to come together. But that was actually a mistake of the people trying to keep us in control. Because that woke the first wave of people up. And that started the domino effect, the ball rolling. Hang on a second. Eh? Oh, everyone was just going about their lives. There was still people out there awake. There was a lot of people out there awake still, but the majority was still asleep. Then 5 years ago, boom, something happened. We all know what happened. And a lot of people woke up. It actually led me to start thinking, I didn't realise at the time, but it was only a year later that I started really getting into finding out what was going on in our reality and not just trusting what I'm being told. Right, it's very, very important that we start coming into our individuality. And what happens this year, right, it all built up from 5 years ago. We had 2021, 2022, 2023. Then I see 2025 in balloons. I see fireworks. So it comes with a feeling of celebration. However, I hear a long, loud explosion. It's not a quick... It's long and it's loud. And it potentially something that's going to be heard globally. And I know that sounds insane to say. But that's what I hear. And I can only tell you what I see and hear in my visions. I can only tell you the truth. I'm not going to never try and add things on. And I'm never going to take away from what the divine has shown me. I'm never ever going to try and add to that, because I can never add to perfection. I can only be the messenger for these messengers. That's all I can do, is just lay on, because sometimes I don't understand what I'm seeing and I have to just say what I see, and then it's revealed later on. Oh, okay. You know, with this one in particular, I get the feeling and I get the sound and I get the... But then afterwards, this is what gives me hope. Afterwards, from 2026 to 2057, there is something to do with the sun. 2036 to 2039, there's a hot spot. But I'm not concentrating on that at the minute. I'm concentrating on this year. 2025. And then a golden line. A golden line. And when I had this vision in 2007, if you had told me about the golden age of Aquarius, if you had told me about anything like that, I would have thought you were talking about a song. Or a movie. I wasn't brought up with spiritual parents. I wasn't brought up with parents. I was brought up in the care system. I was from the streets, from prison. That's why I have all these crazy tattoos. That's why I look the way I do. Because I came from that life. I came from the criminal side, walking on the wrong side of the tracks. My whole life. My whole entire life. Even when I got out, after a 6-year stint, spent 3 years behind bars, I still got out and went back to my old ways of drinking, partying, being a naughty boy. So this testimony, these visions are not coming from someone who automatically assumed God to be real, automatically assumed Jesus Christ to be real. It took me trauma. It took me addiction. It took me losing my mum. It took me losing my friends through addiction. I lost my mum from addiction when I was a kid. My best friend I lost to addiction. All the closest people to me. And now in the spirit world. And I walked that road. So this isn't coming from someone who loved God. It's coming from someone who stuck 2 fingers up at God. And let me be real. Damn, I can't believe. It's hard to know. It's hard to know how lost I was. And that I hated God. And that hurts. Because I found out God was real. I found out God loved me. Always loved me and always helping me. And I blamed them. How could you let this happen to me if you were real? How could you let me feel so much pain? And then I found out it wasn't God creating my pain, it was me. I was choosing that lifestyle because at the time, I was too asleep and too weak to fight my battles. And I didn't know to ask for help from God, from Jesus, from my guides, from the divine, from whoever your ascended master, whoever your inspiration is. I didn't ask for help. I said, I'm taking control of my life. I'm going to grab this bottle and I'm going to pour it down my neck and I'm going to take these drugs and I'm going to sleep with this woman. I'm going to fight this man. I'm going to commit this crime. And I'm going to tear the world up. I'm going to do it my way. I'm going to tear it up because what's the point? It's all shit. I'm going to live the devilish life because that's all I saw around me was pain. And the crazy thing is, the whole time I saw spiritual things happening around me. When I was a child, I saw my prayers get answered sometimes. When I was on that long sentence, I saw me in vision what I was going to be given. And no one could understand how the judge gave me that, because I was supposed to get way more. But I could feel a sense of fairness and learning. I could use this as a learning opportunity, not a punishment. I didn't have to be in there 10, 20 years. 3 years would have been enough, so I got 6 to 3. But I felt it before it happened. I envisioned, I walked that day before it happened, and it came true. You know, I manifested that for myself, and I felt it even before all this stuff. So the crazy thing is, even when I was lost, I was still being helped by the divine every second of the way. And maybe not on my good days where I was out just having a party with my mates, but when I really needed help, the divine was there, and I chose to still just take the help when I needed it and go back to my own ways when I wanted to. And be selfish in that sense. Take God's help when I needed it, and then turn my back on him. Because I was too weak to continue to walk that path. The path that I walk today, that I still struggle with. Still woke up this morning and it's a Saturday. Oh man, I could do with a beer today, you know. It's been a couple of years. It's a fight every day, but this is what happens when we wake up. And I had that vision. In that moment of trauma, that moment of craziness is when I had the vision. And we're going to get on to now. I just wanted you to know, I wanted to lay down some baseline history so you know this isn't coming from a place of I'm trying to convert you all to some sort of religion. I'm trying to make you a believer. Because you already know the truth. You have a soul. You know the truth deep down inside. You know your truth, which might not line up with my truth, and that's absolutely okay, because we are one. And many truths make a whole. And we get to experience a 360 point of view and relay that back to ourselves in divinity. So it's absolutely perfect if we're all having different experiences, because that is exactly what we came here for. And talking of experiences, we're going to get into it now. I want to bring this up on the screen. The first thing we're going to have to talk about, now we got all the emotional stuff out of the way, we can bring the positive. I didn't even know I was going to get emotional there, guys. But that's the realness of love and the realness of God. Is it brings these emotions out in us. We're energetic, emotional, spiritual beings. And that is nothing to be ashamed of. That is nothing to be ashamed of. And I'm just going to get up. I'm going to talk a little bit here while I get it up on the screen. The first thing I want to talk about is Campe Flegrei. So there's 3 things I've narrowed it down to. Okay, there's 3 things that I've narrowed down what the catalyst of 2025 could be. So the first thing I want to talk about is Campe Flegrei. What is Campe Flegrei? What are the Phlegreian fields? Where are they? Why am I concerned about it? Right, guys and girls. So quickly, before I read this out to you, I'm just going to explain why I'm concerned about this. Before I even knew what the Phlegreian fields were, before I knew about Campe Flegrei, anything, it's based over in Sicily, right near Italy. I didn't have a massive interest in Italy, which is why I didn't know about it. I'm really interested in sort of like the USA. Really, the USA astounds me. So that place is crazy. that place is crazy. But yeah, the Phlegreian field. So I had a vision, and I asked God, is there anything you want to show me about this year? Because I knew something was coming, and I didn't know what to tell the people. And he showed me what I thought was a lake. I've made some videos about this. He showed me what I thought was a lake. And then the voice of the Lord said, that's fire. And I thought, a lake of fire? Whoa, a lake of fire, okay. And then I saw a man in the rubble from his waist down. And he was holding in his hand, reaching out. He was holding a tower. And I thought it looked like the Tower of London to me, because that's where I'm from, London. So I thought, why has he got a tower in his hand? And I thought, is that the Tower of London? And the voice of the divine then said again, no, that's the Leaning Tower of Pisa. So I had to sit there and think, I've just seen it. This is what I mean about I have to just say what I've seen, because I was confused. I've seen a lake of fire, and then a man in the rubble of some buildings holding the Leaning Tower of Pisa. Okay, that made no sense to me. That made no sense. Like, what the? A lake of fire and all this. And you got to remember, at the time, I knew nothing about Italy and volcanoes and all this stuff. So I just thought, that sounds like a volcano. Like, what can make a lake of fire? A volcano. That's the only thing that can make a fire. Is a lake of fire is going to be a volcano. It's going to be the lava, right? So I looked. What are the Phlegraean Fields? Okay. The Phlegraean Fields, Italian, Campi Flegrei, Neapolitan Campi Flegrei, is a large volcanic caldera. A volcanic caldera. Right? For those of you that don't know what a caldera is, it's a super volcano. So you've got lots of little volcanoes, normally, where lava still comes out. But they're normally contained within a caldera, if you have a caldera there. Caldera, sometimes there's calderas without the little volcanoes, potentially. But the one in Italy, the one I'm talking about, many little hot spots, hot springs, volcanic activity going on in a huge area. I'm talking 350,000, 500, 500,000 people live in this place. So it's a whole town, city, mini city. 500,000 people live in the caldera. So that gives you, I'll put this up here. I'm going to put this up here. You can see the size. Look at the size. Look at the size of this. That is that. If that goes off, we're talking about a devastation that could be worldwide. And I'll explain why. It is, however, one of the relatively few volcanoes, right, large enough to form a caldera. It is part of the Campane volcanic arc, which includes Mount Vesuvius, about 9 kilometers, 6 miles east of Naples. The Phlegraean Fields is monitored by the Vesuvius Observatory. It was declared a regional park in 2003. Guys, it should have been declared a danger zone. It should have been declared a danger zone. And I understand that probably, a lot of your industry is based on tourism. A lot of your industry is based on tourism. And if we start throwing around danger zones and the whole volcano, like, you guys are in trouble. No one's going to want to visit. But I would actually go further and say, if we were to say to these people that live there, you need to move, how many of them are just part of the land? Generations and generations of families that have lived there. Yes, they probably could have settled somewhere else. Probably a little bit too late by now, But surely, most people, hey, if the volcano goes, they're going with it. And I'm guessing a lot of the older generation, it's going to be their attitude. It's not going to be easy to evacuate 500,000 people, which to me is, looking from a human point of view, that amount of destruction is nothing but devastating. And the fallout from the ash could cause nuclear winter, a volcanic winter that blocks out the sun, stopping crops from growing and sending the rest of us into a time of darkness that would ultimately lead to the Golden Age. However, that is just one of the possibilities of what could happen, because I had a dream, a prophetic dream, and it was a warning. That's why I've picked these 3 things. I've had other experiences, but these are the 3 things that stand out. So we got the volcano in Italy that I saw in my visions, and it just happens. You go on there. Let's look at the volcanic activity on the earth right now. It's all over the place. Russia, Italy, from east to west, north to south. The earth is bubbling over. Yeah, the earth is bubbling over. But now I want to talk about the second thing it could be. I was warned about Germany and Russia. I was warned by Donald Trump, by Mr. T. I was warned in a dream. I rowed a boat over to him in high seas, rough seas. And a swarm of Luftwaffe were just about to attack a country. And I looked at Mr. T and I said, they have no idea what's about to happen, do they? And he looked at me and said, no, they haven't got a clue. And the feeling, ominous, is the word I want to use for ominous feeling. Like something really terrible is about to happen. Something really, really bad. And it involved Germany and Russia. So I've been keeping an eye on what's been going on. And if we take a look here, right, we can see that literally the other day, 2 days ago, a day ago, the Chancellor of Germany, Friedrich Merz, has just signed a defence treaty deal with the UK. The first since 1945, which was towards the end of World War II. And not only that, if we look here, boom, Macron wants to stick his 2p piece in and join up as well. Does this look like history's slightly repeating itself? Just slightly. And I had this dream. Oh, you would have had to check when I made the video about it. The video would have been maybe 4 or 5 months ago, 6 months ago, half a year ago. And I always put my videos up about these dreams and that because, you know, I like to give people fair warning. So if it happens, then they can say, okay, this isn't the end. This is leading to a golden age, you know. So we have to keep an eye on Germany because they're ruffling feathers. And they're ruffling feathers, but the strangest thing in the dream, which I have to keep on mentioning, is it was like it was almost done on purpose in cahoots with Russia. Like it was planned. Like Germany and Russia had this plan to have this fight, this something happen. But it was made out like, oh, you know, because I thought in my dream, why are Germany helping Russia? Why are they helping when they're supposed to be on our side? It didn't make any sense. But as we all know, behind the scenes, there's all I'm convinced they've all got a big plan. It's all a big plan for our attention to keep us in a low state of fear and vibration. But that's the second one I saw. We have to keep an eye on Germany because they literally Germany and UK and France, they've all just literally signed the biggest treaty defence deal since 1945, and that's just random and that's just scary. If you don't know what's going on, it's scary from the human point of view. The amount of people that must be like, what on earth is happening? What on earth is happening? The third one is going to be something you might not have heard about. And I'll tell you the reason why this one's come up, because I cannot forget about this one. This is the solar flash. However, it's not the solar flash from the sun. God, it's not the most comfortable sitting on your bed when you've been run out of your studio by the kids and the animals. But it's working. It's working. It's getting the job done. We're getting the message across. And that's all that matters. So the next one is a solar flare that upgrades the very DNA of humanity. A mass awakening. All at once. A mass awakening for those still asleep and even those who are awake to be hit with more higher vibrations, but not from our sun, from an SME or a CME that happened on the surface of Betelgeuse 1400 years ago. How crazy does that sound? However, I was sat watching this program and a woman was talking about the solar flare, the solar flash, the great flash that wakes up humanity. And the interviewer said, "Where does this solar flare come from?" And just before the woman answered, it went beep, 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 beep. It cut to a commercial, to a break. Beep, 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 come get your tyres changed. We wash your windows. And I'm sat there, and it cut. But as it cut to the adverts, a voice in my head said, as clear as day, as loud as anything, it said, Beetlejuice. And I thought, Beetlejuice? I thought, what the heck is Beetlejuice? The movie? Like, that's all I could think, the movie. And so I paused it and I went and made a cup of coffee. Love me coffee. I went and made a cup of coffee. And I was thinking Beetlejuice. I was thinking if the next thing that comes out of that woman's mouth is Beetlejuice, then there's something to this. I unpaused, waited for the adverts, and she answered, the solar flare's coming from a star called Beetlejuice. Pause, research, star called Beetlejuice. What? Beetlejuice has been dimming. What? Beetlejuice is behaving strangely and is about to blow up. What? You know, when things like that happen in life, it's like confirmation. Again, didn't know anything about Beetlejuice. There's a star called Beetlejuice. Didn't know anything about it. In my naiveness. In my learning. Still lots to learn. You know, but this happened. God, I made a video on this as well. So you've got to go back and check. This was months ago, maybe over a year ago now. I made a video about Beetlejuice. But I heard it, Beetlejuice. So what could happen here is we could have a surface mass ejection or a coronal mass ejection. And there was one measured. I think there was a surface mass ejection measured from Beetlejuice 400 times bigger than any explosion ever seen on our sun. And it's heading to Earth. That energy has to go somewhere, okay? Like it's travelling. It's almost like that explosion is travelling. And it has to go somewhere. And I believe it's heading for Earth. And it's going to be here any day. This year. Any day now this year. There's going to be a day we potentially we're going to be just sat there. And just... like someone taking the blinkers off, like, oh, okay. Oh, I'm starting to feel a bit of love. Hey, how you doing? You know, I might call my friends. I might call my family. Yeah, this is an Earth I can live on. How you doing, neighbour? Do you need a hand? Do you need some help? Hey? Do you need some help? Chop Chop's coming to help you. Hey? Oh, Chop Chop. It's a bit of a Chopper reference there for anyone who knows the film Chopper. It's not a spiritual film unless you look at it through spiritual eyes. Chopper's waving at us. He's waving. God, got off topic. But they're the three guys. What a random video this has been. It has been random. My energy is just... We're right on the edge. And I feel I've been waiting for this year for a long time. And this year means so much to me. Because if the great event of Catalyst of 2025 doesn't happen, then I'm insane. Then I've been having psychotic episodes for the last 20 odd years. You know, but all of the rest of the visions, you know, what I saw 5 years ago came true. That came true. So that was like, I can't believe they're coming true. You know, I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it when the whole world changed 5 years ago and I saw it happening. You know, and I see it happen this year, but it's greater, guys. It's bigger. In terms of what I hit, I'll give you what I feel. So in terms of 2020, we got there and it was like, whoa, what's that? What is that? Whoa, that's big. That's big. Oh, okay. I don't know what happens there, but that's big. Whatever, that's big. Okay, 2021. Okay, it builds. 22, 3, or 4. Oh my God. Oh my god. Oh my god. Golden line. Golden lines. That's what I feel. That's what I feel when I get to this year. What happens is that big. It's that big. It's... God, I wish I knew what happened. It's so big, man. It's so big. I know, that's the only way I can explain it. It's just a feeling. It's just a reaction to a feeling. That's the only... I'm reacting to what's happened, what I feel happening. It's massive. And it changes. It's the catalyst that changes everything. It changes our whole human race. This is how big it is, guys. It changes the human race's trajectory on a golden path. Is there going to be another timeline that goes down? I don't know. I don't know, but I ain't on it. And if you're watching this video, you ain't on it. Because if you know of it, how can you miss it? If you know of it, how can you miss it? And when it happens, when you see it, maybe there's a choice afterwards, but this catalyst, there's no choice. Every person on planet Earth is going to know. Every single person on planet Earth. From the teacher, to the cleaner, to the scientist, to the person locked up, to the homeless man, to the child, to the mother, to the brother, to the father, to the sister, to the uncle, and everyone in between, to the cat, to the dog, to the fish. Everyone's going to know. There ain't no missing it. There's no missing it. There's no missing it. And I wish I had more information, you know, but we have the volcano. We've got to keep an eye on Germany, because they're Germany going to cause some crap. They're going to do something that just is unnecessary. It's going to be on purpose. It's going to be to cause conflict. Yeah. And it looks like, from what we've seen, they're already doing it. That plan's already well in motion. And then Beetlejuice. And do you know what's so crazy about 2025? It could be all three and more. Beetlejuice could hit. The volcanoes could go off. And then, because of that, people decide, let's just have at it. Let's just go for our globalistic ideas right now, because we're about to lose everything. It's now or never, you know what I mean? But where the hope comes in, guys, where I want you to have hope is we go into a golden age. We are going into a golden age. And people talk about 2027, people talk about 2030, people talk about 20, 30, 40, 50s, 200 years from now. No. It starts in 2026. It starts in 2026 because what happens this year is so big, there is no other choice for those who want to live in love and peace and harmony. And this isn't a religious thing. This isn't even a spiritual thing anymore. This is way beyond that. This is written in the stars. There is no battle to be had. The battle is already won. The human race is not going to be lost to ourselves or anything else. We are loved, protected, nourished, nurtured and guided into the golden age. And it's where we're all heading. So whatever happens this year, please remember that it is supposed to happen. It has to happen. You cannot have a fire without a spark. And if we want to live in the flames of love, something needs to spark that fire inside of us. And that's exactly what happens with this catalyst. So just keep an eye out and just... It could be tomorrow, it could be today, you know. Every day I wake up and... Is today the day? You know? Is today the day? And I just want you all to be, I want you all to be prepared. I want you all to be in love, not in fear. So on that note, guys, on that note, I want to thank you for being down here with me and all of us on earth at this great time of awakening. It is tough, but it is beautiful. And if there's one thing we like on earth, it's a little bit of beauty. So till next time, please take care of those around you. Take care of your siblings, your friends, your family, your loved ones, your pets, your animals, your neighbours and your strangers. But don't forget to love yourselves. Take care of yourselves, because if we don't love ourselves, we can't truly give those around us the love they truly deserve. And then we can't receive the love that we all truly deserve. And if you're down here right now, you better believe you're one tough cookie. You're one spiritual soldier doing it for the masses. So thank you, thank you, thank you from the bottom of my heart. I couldn't do this alone. You couldn't do this alone. We need each other. We all need each other. And we're going into a world where that is going to become the norm. To not want to be alone anymore. To not want to see people alone anymore. For loneliness to become a thing of the past. Because we are never truly alone. With the divine and Jesus Christ and whoever looks after us by our side. So please take care of yourselves. Take care of those around you. And I will see you soon. Till next time. Take care. Goodbye for now.
I look at you and it's easy to see. You are that someone I've been trying to meet. I got your number, won't you pick up the phone? Don't leave me hanging on the dial tone. Think back